Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word Live and to the qualifying watch along for the 2019, obviously, Chinese Grand Prix. First off, I'm going to kick it straight off with the disclaimer: no race footage in the stream for obvious copyright reasons. That's all I'm saying. How are we all doing this morning? I know it's still early over in the UK, but if you're over the other side of the world, hope you've had a good day so far. And if you're in the UK, I hope you've woken up. I just about have. Just to let everybody know as well, as you'll have noticed, I'm 10 minutes late today. I will be 10 minutes late again tomorrow. I'm going to start these. About 20 minutes of build-up, I think, is plenty for qualifying, and half an hour for the race, rather than the 30 minutes and 40 we were doing last weekend. So, yeah, just a little tweak for this weekend. But I'm going to kick things off, as I always do in these streams, by going back to FP3 this morning and having a quick look at the result from there. Valtteri Bottas, quickest again, as he was in practice 2 yesterday, ahead of Sebastian Vettel, nearly 0.4 of a second only practice. Let's see what happens in qualifying. I think this is going to be seriously close. Very much looking forward to this. Charles Leclerc, third place for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton saying he's struggling around China so far this weekend. Nearly 0.9 of a second off in fourth place. Long way to go yet. Nico Hülkenberg, fifth place for Renault. They're looking good so far. Sixth is Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo with Max Verstappen in seventh and Carlos Sainz in eighth. Alexander Albon, monster crash this morning coming out of the final corner. Went up on the curb. A little bit of AstroTurf as well. He was into a spin and straight into the wall. Big accident. He's absolutely fine now. That's the main thing. Talk about him in just a moment. Daniel Kvyat, 10th for Toro Rosso. So Honda looking solid this weekend. Lando Norris in 11th place with Sergio Perez in 12th. 13th for Daniel Ricciardo. 14th for Lance Stroll. Pierre Gasly down in 15th. I'll be honest, I've not actually seen anything of him this morning. Whether there was a problem, I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys will let me know. 16th, Antonio Giovinazzi. 17th, Romain Grosjean. 18th, Kevin Magnussen. So Haas not really much pace this morning. Had a proper chance to catch up on any of the team's issues today. But George Russell 19th and Robert Kubica down in 20th. Obviously, Williams are just nowhere, as we know. Long way off the pace, 3.3 seconds, 3.2 for Russell, but very close once again in that midfield. I'm really hoping we're going to get another very, very exciting qualifying. Q1 in Australia and Bahrain was insane, and I'd quite happily see a bit more of that, if I'm being totally honest. But we shall see how that goes. Alexander Albon, though. He's absolutely fine. Massive crash. As I was saying in the little rundown there, he came out of the final corner, up on the curb, onto the AstroTurf, back end got away, bit of a wiggle, tried to correct it, got it all. Well, I just couldn't. There was no way he was getting back from that one. Slid straight off, backwards into the barrier on the right-hand side. So it was into the pit wall, effectively. Smashed that car up. He will not take part in qualifying. He is not. Toro Rosso have confirmed he's not taking part. Too much damage to the monocoque. Ted was saying on a Sky coverage before I went live that they've had to switch to another chassis, and that takes time, obviously, with the FIA and whatnot. So he will not take part. So we've got 19 drivers today in quali, but as I said in that rundown, the most important thing for Alex Albon is he is absolutely fine. Big crash, absolutely big crash. If you've not seen it, do get off onto Twitter. I did retweet one, an onboard, I think it was, a little bit earlier this morning, so do go check that out. A massive crash for him. But I'm pretty confident this qualifier is going to be quite exciting. I'm just going to go quickly to Planet F1 because a couple of other things I want to talk about before we do some very quick predictions. This is where I can't find what I was going to look for. Usually the way it goes, but it's been an interesting weekend so far in terms of the laps. If you go back to FP1, was quite, it looked like Ferrari were on it, and then Bottas has turned up and he's delivering, and you think, oh, Mercedes are on it, but then Hamilton's a long way off. He's saying he's really struggling. But the weekend started with not really controversy, I guess, but Mercedes and Red Bull have both fallen foul of the 2019 regulations and have been ordered by the FIA to change their front wing designs this weekend. Now, Mercedes ran illegally. I don't know if Red Bull did. I'm not quite sure, but I know that Mercedes definitely ran illegally on Friday, which is within the rules. You don't have to have a legal car for practice. You must have for qualifying the race, so obviously. And they were asked to switch back to their older design. So there's so many loopholes in these 2019 regulations, it seems like, and everybody's getting, or a few teams getting caught out by them. I think there was something last weekend or last time out. I can't quite remember what that one was. But so they've had to make changes to go back. So not a great not a great start if these loopholes are going to get exploited and then banned straight away. I hate all this cutting back on innovation. You know, if a car's illegal, a car's illegal. I completely get that, but I do miss those days where teams just turn up, strap something on the car, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, see how you get on. And then if it's too big of an advantage, they tend to close it down. But yeah, not a great start to the weekend. But Lewis Hamilton, while we're sticking with Mercedes, saying he's struggling with the handling of his car. 7 tenths off in FP2, 9 tenths off almost this morning. He said, where's the quote? There it is. I was struggling with the car today. We've got work to do, particularly on my side, as Valtteri looked much more comfortable in the car. We're going to work hard tonight to find some tweaks and hopefully come back stronger tomorrow. The car has the pace in it to compete at the front. We just need to find the right setup. He's also predicting, Toto Wolff said the same, that Red Bull are going to be right in the mix this weekend. I'm not sure on one lap pace whether Red Bull are going to be up there. I'd be surprised. I'd be very, very surprised if Red Bull are up there in qualifying. Perhaps maybe in the race. We saw last year, didn't we? They were a long way off in qualifying, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just looking at Ashray in chat saying Hamilton is playing mind games. I'll be honest. When I hear anything Mercedes say about how far off the pace they are or how much they're struggling, I take it with so much salt right now. It's insane. You can't really believe it, can you? They like to play these mind games, as Ashray is saying there in chat. But it's yeah. Having said that, he's not really showing the pace. You know, Bottas has got the pace this weekend at the moment, and Hamilton just doesn't seem to, which is quite surprising. There are also some changes down at Renault. All Renault powered cars have got a new MG UK this weekend after the problems they faced in Bahrain. To be introduced new MG UK at the third race as a quick fix to some problems is a little bit worrying for Renault, but also worrying for Ferrari and Honda in that they're bringing new parts this weekend as well. Obviously, Charles Leclerc had his issues in Bahrain, so there's been some new control electronics fitted to both Vettel and Leclerc's cars. But I think Max Verstappen, did he have a... No, not Max Verstappen, sorry. I've lost my list. I did have a list. There was a number of drivers with Honda-powered cars who have had changes. Definitely Toro Rosso have had a full change on one of their cars. So it's so early in the season. It seems a little bit, not bizarre, but a bit odd to be having all these power unit changes and mechanical issues. I mean, you look at Carlos Sainz. I mean, how many has he got through already? He's going to be getting penalties later in the season. It's a bit frustrating that we're talking about this now. Given that all the talk coming into this season was about the chassis and the changes to regulations on that side, we thought reliability was getting better, and it seems like there are certain teams struggling. But then again, thinking back to last year, I think I had similar concerns over the season. But everything will come good in the end. But I would be surprised if Sainz doesn't take penalties this season. Very surprised if we don't see a Honda car take penalties this season. So yes. Why does it say race? Does it say race? Have I put race somewhere? Possibly. Hang on, let me check. I'll double check that for you. It does indeed. I will change that. Thank you very much for pointing that one out. I'm a day early. I'm going to guess the result of the Grand Prix. I'm going to give you some fake commentary for the race. Definitely. Yes, there we go. All changed. Thank you very much for pointing that one out. It is the qualifying watch along if you're just tuning in. I don't have access to the race just yet. I don't think Formula One's rigged in that respect. They pick the results. So yes, thank you very much for that one. Right, predictions for pole position. Lewis Hamilton's talking about his struggles. Bottas was quick this morning and yesterday. Ferrari once again look on pace. Talk of Red Bull being in the mix. Who's going to get pole position this weekend? I've got a feeling we're going to see... I'm going to go Bottas. I will go Bottas, actually. I was thinking about Vettel and how close he's been in a couple of mistakes that may have cost him some time yesterday. Good to see Ted, by the way, in the paddock on Sky Sports. But yes, I'm going to go Bottas. Possibly more out of hope than expectation. I love him to get pole position. I think if we can have a Ferrari and a Mercedes on the front row, we've got a very tasty race tomorrow. That's kind of how I'm viewing it. So, yeah, we'll see. It is the 1000th World Championship Grand Prix this weekend, so I'm hoping we get an absolute cracker. Just open my live timing on Sky. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat in terms of predictions. Raikkonen, says Al. That's a bold prediction. I'll give you that one. Vettel, says Dr. Vidya. Stroll. All right, I'll take it back on the Raikkonen prediction. That's not too bad. The Stroll one is a little bit over the top. Bottas for pole, says Morgan. He fancies Bottas for pole. I'd go with you on that one. Bottas, Vettel on pole position, says Nick. Vettel, Leclerc, Bottas, says Forsberg. I'll butcher names. If you're new to the channel, I will butcher names. Hamilton or Bottas. Bottas, Gasly, hopefully, pick Q3. Do you know, Gasly needs a Q3 appearance. He really, I just need somebody else. Do you think Gasly will bottle it again or not? That's Nick. I'm trying to hold back on judgment with Gasly. I said this not last race. I think it was after Australia that, 1 weekend, 2 weekends into the season, we don't really need to worry too much about people like that. We don't need to go crazy and start throwing question marks around about their future. But he wasn't good in Australia. He wasn't good in Bahrain, really, when you think about it. I mean, that Red Bull wasn't overly quick on race pace in Bahrain, so maybe could have a bit of slack there. But then Verstappen still came home fourth. So it's quite a difficult one, but struggled this morning. So I'm a little bit concerned, but I think he's going to need a bit of time. It's quite even though it is going from one Red Bull team to another, it's still quite a big step up, and it is only 2 full races into the season. We're only on weekend 3. I think around Spain, maybe even Canada, give it a third of the season, and we'll see where everybody's at that point before we start throwing too many judgments about, because people think I'm mad when I say that. People say, 7 races, that if they've not got it together by then it's too late for them. But think back to last year. I know he had a few seasons under his belt before that, but Max Verstappen really struggled last year. If we'd all written him off after 7 races, how stupid would we have looked? Even in Canada, let alone the rest of the season, his second half to the year, as I said last year a million times, was brilliant, and he was easily the second best driver at worst on the grid for the second half of the year. So I think 7 races, a third of the season, is a good time to start judging on most drivers, but certainly drivers that have just switched teams or are rookies to the sport. So I'm hoping a Q3 appearance for Gasly today. I'm not overly excited about Red Bull's pace. A lot of people on Sky seem to be quite excited, and Christian Horner's fairly positive, but I'm not. That's come back. Red Bull front row lockout confirmed. That's going to come back to bite me on the backside, but I'm not quite as optimistic as others. But I think third row lockout for Red Bull would be good, but Renault look pacey. Renault look good so far. Yeah. Max was not slow last year. Well, no, he just kept crashing into everybody. Sorry. But yeah, not a great start to the season for Max Verstappen at all. And that's after multiple seasons in the sport. Gasly's only been in a couple. This is his second full season, and he's just moved teams. So we'll cut him a bit of slack for now. But if we don't worry. I've got a list of drivers I'm watching, and when we get to Canada, you wait. If people are not performing, that's when the ramp videos come out and things like that. So yes, Hulkenberg podium ? Says David. I read the question mark. No, I don't think so. Not in China. It'd be nice. I'd love to see it. A lot of people don't like Hulkenberg at the moment for some reason, but yeah, I'm optimistic he'll get a podium this year. Same with Danny Rick, but I don't think it'll be this weekend. Just actually to clear something up, I meant to do this on Twitter and I completely forgot about the Bahrain debrief. 2 things to clear up. First of all, at no point did I state that Max Verstappen was at fault for the crash with Sainz. People hearing what they want to hear, as usual. But the incident with Hulkenberg and Ricciardo, I stated that Hulkenberg ran over Daniel Ricciardo's front wing. Now, by the definition of the term ran over, Hulkenberg did run over Ricciardo's front wing. That wasn't me saying that Hulkenberg was at fault for the incident. Ricciardo locked up and went into him, but Hulkenberg did run over Daniel Ricciardo's front wing. So just to clear that up, I'm not blaming people for the incidents. The incident with Verstappen and Sainz could have quite easily left Verstappen more space. Verstappen went for a move up the inside that some said was a little bit over the top. I think he was completely within his rights to go for that move, and Sainz closed the door. But I wasn't putting the blame at Verstappen still for that one. But you know what people are like. You know how I like to address it just to make sure that everyone knows. Do you think Haas have a chance of a podium? Says Rocket this weekend. Do you know? Yeah, maybe. I think they'd need a couple of the top boys to fall out. But if you look at that Ferrari, the power they've got on the straights, the rumour is it's 4/10 quicker in a straight line than the Mercedes. So that's Ferrari power versus a Renault, a Honda, is going to be a little bit OP. And obviously they're losing some of that, or quite a bit of that, through the rest of the lap through the quick corners, Ferrari. But in a straight line, they're quick. So that could really help Haas out tomorrow. But I do think they're going to need some retirements ahead of them. Equally, though, they weren't all that quick this morning. So, I mean, we're going to see. I think Haas, I'd be surprised if we get a chaotic Grand Prix, if Haas aren't the ones there to pick up the points, if you like, or the podiums probably with Magnussen, not so much Grosjean. He's had a very tough start to the year. Really tough start again. I know it's only 2 races, but it's not been good for him. I know one of them wasn't his fault in Australia. In fact, why did he retire in... But I don't think either have been his fault, to be fair. I'm just trying to think. Can't remember what Bahrain was. If you weren't around for the Bahrain Grand Prix watch along, by the way, that ended abruptly because of a copyright strike, so I've completely forgotten everything that happened in that stream. And I need to watch the race back again, because all I think about that weekend now is how much I hate F1 and their copyright strike system. So, yeah, and YouTube. So a few things have been forgotten from that weekend. I'll take a couple more questions. Qualifying, just as the music is kicking off. I quite like doing these qualifying watch-alongs. I'm going to just sit and chat to you guys before we go into it. Obviously, there'll be a lot to talk about tomorrow after qualifying. Again, the race watch-along. Provided there are no copyright strikes, everything should be back to normal this weekend. So, qualifying watch-along now. Obviously, qualifying report at 2:30. Hopefully, just after the Channel 4 coverage, the highlights coverage is finished in the UK, because I don't want to put spoilers on everybody. And then the race watch-along will be tomorrow, 6:40 a.m. again. And then the post-race stream, fingers crossed, this week we'll go ahead with Stuart, and the debrief will be on Monday. So, yes. How long until qualifying? 4 minutes. 4 minutes, which means I actually need to do something now. I do need to set up my timer. You remembered a timer. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Let me make sure I get this right, though. It is 15 minutes for the first session, isn't it? I'm sure it is. So, well, it is now. It is now. Or is it 18? I can't remember. It's shocking. I think it's 18. I'm going to put 18. We'll soon find out. But my timer is ready to go. So yes, we'll head over to the watch-along screen super quick. Morning racing. Come on, you can spoil it for people. I'm quite happy to put the qualifying report out earlier if you guys are going to deal with the comment section. No, people just get a little bit understandably frustrated. I mean, I'd rather people kept their notifications on, because YouTube doesn't always let people know about videos anyway, and people don't like having the notifications on and then getting told such and such is on pole when they're just about to sit down to watch the qualifying highlights. I know you understand. I know you're only messing about, but just to clarify that one. Afternoon, Sean. Hello, Darth. Good to see you. 3 minutes. So yeah, let's. I'm just gonna go straight to the watch on screen. Live timing is provided by Planet F1. Thank you very much to the folks over there for doing that as usual. Hopefully all will update. It all worked okay last weekend, so knock on wood, everything's going to be fine this time around too. Once again, no race footage or on-track footage, obviously, for what I think are obvious copyright reasons. Some people don't. So no race footage. It's just an alternative commentary, a little bit of chat with you guys, and I'll do my full cheesy crofty. But I'll try not to shout quite so much. I've got neighbours to think about. It is still 7 o'clock's not early. 7 o'clock's not early, but not as early as racing up at 2 a.m., which is shocking. Evening in the US, apparently, according to Juan. I said apparently. I'm not doubting you. You would know. Gazzy, please just make Q3, says Luke. Just having a look at the onboard now of Alex Albon in FP3. Comes out the final corner, up on the curve. Oh, that's a big crash. That is a big crash. Pretty quickly out the car, to be fair. Wasn't in there too long. But yeah, there are plenty of streams out there if people want to go watch them. I'm not going to promote any. I can't. That gets me into trouble as well. So, yes, hopefully we're going to have a very good session. It was absolutely bonkers in Australia, 9 a.m. in Finland. That's a bit more reasonable. People think I moan, by the way. I'm not moaning about the early starts. I quite like the early starts. It means I get the rest of my day. Sort of. 2 a.m. in Montreal, 3:30 p.m. in South Oz, sorry. 7 a.m. It is, Luke. It is definitely 7 a.m. in the UK. I can confirm it's 7 a.m. I'm just waiting now for this timer to... I'm sure it's 18 minutes for the FP1. I can't stand listening to Crofty any longer. I've just put my headphones in, so I'm going to have to now. I prefer not to, but I also like to keep it in for Ted and for team radios and things. But Crofty's a bit much. He's all right, but he's just a bit much sometimes. I'll give you that one. So just going to wait now and see. Oh, I've got a good feeling about this one. Hopefully we're going to have a good session. Fingers crossed, waiting for the lights to go green in the pit lanes. Look at the championship. Bottas still top by a point, obviously, from Hamilton. Vettel, only 22 points. That does surprise me. He could do with a good weekend. I know that's probably an obvious statement of the year. I wonder if there's a little bit of pressure. I might talk about this tomorrow. Maybe a bit of pressure starting to build on Vettel. I know it's only 2 races, but he is behind his teammate on points. He's down in 5th place, falling away from the Mercedes already. Could really do with a good weekend. And as we know, he doesn't handle pressure brilliantly. So if that pressure starts to build, we're going to have some, or he's going to have some problems. So I think the light has gone green, so I've hit the button, but I think I'm actually probably a little bit off on this one. So I may have to tweak this very, very slightly. I will. Let's go with 17:35. There we go. There we go. That should be about up to date. So it might be a few seconds slower. You guys are on delay. Don't forget as well. 10 seconds between what I see and what I'm saying and you guys hearing it. So first man out on track is George Russell, closely followed by Robert Kubica. Super soft tyres for not super soft tyres, the soft tyres for both of those super softs. For God's sake, Sean, come on, not good enough. So their first 2 out on track. Can Williams score points this year? What do we reckon? Do you reckon they're going to need a chaotic Grand Prix, aren't they, if they're going to score points? I'm going to stop the timer a minute. It's completely wrong, so I do apologise. I'm just going to sort this out now. It's the first time I've done a timer on these, so that should be about right now. Yes, it is. There we go. Apologies about that. We'll keep an eye on these timers updating for Planet F1 as well, so everything's good. If you are new, don't forget, by the way, to hit that subscribe button and to drop a like on the video. I can't overstate how much of a difference it can make to a channel in the algorithms if people just drop a quick like. It doesn't take a second and it's massively appreciated. I won't bang on about it, though. Don't worry. You were ahead on me by 15 seconds. Yeah, well, there's a... it depends on where you are, I think. It's all to do with YouTube. Some places it's a 6-second delay. Other places it's even longer than that. So, unfortunately, which is a little bit frustrating. And then you've got a delay as well between the Planet F1 timings and the main timings. So, there's a little bit... Delay is the word, but there's not a lot we can do about it, unfortunately. It's the unique way that YouTube works. The last few polls, Vettel, Hamilton, Rosberg, Hamilton, Hamilton. That goes back to 2014. In fact, I think Mercedes have been on pole here every year since 2012, apart from last year. I might be wrong. I think I did have the stat up earlier. I think that's about right. So it's definitely a track that Mercedes enjoy. We've got Kubica on board with Kubica. So this is going to be interesting, watching that car wrestling it through the corners. It looks awful. I mean, we know that Williams is poor, but it does not look good. So what's he going to do in the first sector coming through now? And he does a 25.178, but that car looks horrific. Absolutely horrible to drive. Be interesting to see sector times for Russell as he comes through. He's a little bit slower than his teammate, a 1/10 of a second down. The Williams boys only going to be racing each other this weekend. Is it saying Q3? It is saying Q3. I'll switch it, don't worry. Teething problems, there we go. It's not Q3, don't worry. Kubica is not in Q3. A few people got excited. But yeah, that car looks a handful. We know that Williams are going to be fighting each other this weekend and probably for the rest of the season. So we need to be keeping an eye on what they do relative to each other. 29.0 in the middle for Kubica. 28.6 in the middle for Russell. So you're looking at... He's about 5/10 up at the moment, George Russell. They shouldn't have a problem in a straight line, Williams. That's one thing they should be okay with. See what he's got in the hairpin. I love this corner. Really late on the brakes. There's a delay on the graphics, by the way, on the... You know the Halo graphics they've got? Liberty Media. There's a delay on when they hit the throttle and when they brake, so it all looks a little bit confusing. I think they could do with tweaking that, to be honest. But out the final corner comes Robert Kubica with a 137.421. George Russell's going to come through. What can he do? That Williams just looks absolutely awful to drive. The onboard Robert Kubica there. Russell out the final corner. He was up in the middle sector on his teammate. Good exit. And across the line, he goes on a 136.8. Wow. 0.6 of a second exactly quicker than teammate Robert Kubica. Not good. Not good. Claire Williams, yeah, what'd you do? What'd you do if you're Williams? What was last year's pole time? Let's have a look. But yeah, what do you say if you're Williams? Just Russell will be happy because he's beating his teammate. That's about all they can do. Pole last year, a 31.095. So although that's only first runs, Kubica to say massive oversteer. That's a massive understatement. Quite frankly, from the onboard that we saw, it was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But I'm sure they'll go quicker on their second runs, but at the moment that's 6 seconds off last year's pole time. Not good. And in fact, actually, the Q1 time last year for Williams, Lance Stroll 34.2, Sirotkin 34.0. So at the moment, 3 seconds off last year's pole time. Still second runs to have, of course, though, so they should be a little bit quicker. Hopefully, a little bit later on. Charles Leclerc. Oh, Charles Leclerc. Oh, disappointing. Devastating last time out in Bahrain, of course. Very, very sad. Yeah. He's quite positive coming into this weekend now. I think maybe, got his first podium. That was something. I know, he lost the win at the end. He didn't. The team did. It was his. He was not going to lose that race without the mechanical issue in theory. But he's come into the weekend fairly positive as everyone starts going out now. Both the Mercs are heading out as well. But he does seem positive. Did talk about everyone's opinions changing quite quickly. That Australia, nobody thought it was a championship contender, and then Bahrain all of a sudden he is. I think that's something he's going to have to get used to at Ferrari, that ebbing and flowing of what people expect of him this season. So I think fantastic drive in Bahrain. He personally did not put a foot wrong really all weekend. The only thing really a bit off the line, he struggled on that first lap and a few little things like that, but he was fantastic all weekend. So you can take a lot of confidence from that, a lot of positives, and he got a podium. But it should have been the win, let's be perfectly honest about that. But across the line he comes to start. A lot of dust on track there, but as he comes across the line to start his flying lap, see what he can do. Leclerc out there. Thank you very much, Phil, for subscribing. Welcome to the team. Don't often catch those, so nice to give somebody a quick shout out there. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new. Loads still to come this weekend. Again, fingers crossed, all being well. What have we got? Let's see what his first set is. So Russell was a 25.2. I'd like to think he'll beat that one, and does with a 24.2. So yeah, comfortably quicker. Gunther Steiner on a pit wall today. Vettel, even quicker. It was Vettel, sorry, with a 24.2. Leclerc a 24.3. They swapped around on my timing screens there just to confuse me. Be interesting what they do. Apparently Ferrari was saying earlier, losing a lot of time in the corners, particularly the fast corners, but on the straights they are comfortably quicker than anybody else. So yeah, Aaron says it's Bottas versus Hamilton I want to see. Charles Leclerc 1.9 up in the middle sector, 27.6, 27.7 for Vettel. So there's nothing between the Ferraris at the moment, and this is where they should absolutely destroy everybody in a straight line. I just want to see as many people as possible versus Bottas and Hamilton. That's what I want to see. As many cars fighting as possible. There's a lot of traffic for Leclerc, and Antonio Giovinazzi just sat on the outside there, just out of the way. But so much traffic, and there's a Mercedes going to be in the way here. I think he should be okay in the last corner as Kvyat gets out of the way in the Toro Rosso. Leclerc through the final corner. We get a nice little toe as well off the Mercedes down the straight. Across the line he goes on a 1.34 flat, and Sebastian Vettel's going to go through and trump that with a 1.33.5. So I think Leclerc may have lost a bit of time in that traffic there. Not ideal, but I'd like to think a 34 flat would see him through, to be fair. Are you in Stuart's Game Show's next episode? I am. Myself, Jonty, and Dan. I don't know when he's putting that one out, though. It was fantastic fun to record. I watched the first episode on Thursday. Great fun to watch and fantastic to record. We were all a little bit unsure going into it on the Thursday. I think that on the... When do we record? Wednesday. And I think that comes across in the first few minutes of the video. We're very much like... Yeah, because we had no idea what we were going into, but it was great fun to record, and I'm already badgering him now about doing another one because I'd love to be in that one. It was good fun. But Vettel currently fastest 33.5. See what the Mercedes can do. Bottas does a purple middle sector on a 27.4 for the sector times. I wonder if completely clear run. I was just saying Martin Brundle there, completely clear run here, pretty much for Mercedes. So. Cars are supposed to be slower than last year, but it's P1. Yeah, we don't believe that. We don't believe the cars are slower than last year. Just having a look at what Bottas can do. So Hamilton will be first across to the Mercedes. Bottas is quicker than him in the middle sector. Oh, very wide out the final corner from Hamilton. A lot of dust kicked up as well. Across the line goes fastest. And then Bottas goes through and beats that even more. 32.6 from Bottas. So at the moment, Bottas 9/10 quicker than Vettel in third, half a second quicker than his teammate. But Hamilton on board now, coming out of that final corner, was very wide, very, very wide. So that might have cost him a little bit of time. But Bottas comfortably quickest at the moment. Is this Does it look like pole position for Valtteri? Oh, super wide from Hamilton. Back end getting out as well. Verstappen next one. Out the final corner for him. See what he can do. 133.2. Not bad. Ahead of the Ferraris. Not bad at all. Not bad at all from Verstappen. So maybe party mode still to come out, isn't there? So I'm not sure. I'm not good. I'd love to see Red Bull up there this weekend because that's 3 cars. And did Leclerc lose time? I only lost too much time, but see what he says. Team radio, no? Just thinking about it. No, it didn't work. Fair enough. But no, yeah, so not ideal. Not ideal. But I don't think it cost him that much. It didn't cost him all that. What was he in the end? No, he's down in 10th, 1.4 seconds off, so maybe it did cost him some. No video. No, Ridwell asking if there's any video. No race footage. Can't do it. Copyright. They'd absolutely destroy me. They destroy me as it is for using everything on screen right now. I have complete and total permission to use and or is mine, and I still get copyright struck, so there's no way I get away with race footage. Some channels out there will and continue to, and there is still races. I'm not salty about it. They're up from the other weekend in Bahrain, but yeah, I won't get away with it. So unfortunately, no. You can donate. Got a few billion. That's cool. I'm quite happy to try and buy the rights from Liberty and Sky. I'd love that. It's never going to happen, but that'd be brilliant. Gasly, what can he do? So Verstappen was a 33.274. Gasly, a few of you saying would like to see him in Q3. He could do with a Q3 appearance out of the final corner and across the line. He's going to go on a 34 flat. So he's, 8/10 off his teammate at the moment. 8/10 off his teammate. He's going to need to go better than that. And I tell you what, it is very close once again. I would say... Where are we? So the cut-off at the moment... Obviously, we've not got Albion. So that's one less to worry about. So there's only 4 people going to drop out. And at the moment in 16th is Lance Stroll, which is kind of the bubble. A 134.5, 1.8 seconds off the pace. It's then, I think, Hulkenberg down have definitely got to go again. Or Grosjean down, sorry, have definitely got to go again. Hulkenberg might be okay. Vettel might be okay. So Leclerc and Gasly have both got to go again. Kvyat, Daniel Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sainz, Perez, Norris, Raikkonen have all got to go. So this could be interesting. We had this in Australia. We had it in Bahrain. The last runs were incredible. It was absolute madness. So I'm going to have a quick sip of me drink before they all get cracking, because this is where I'm going to go full crofty, is what I was going to say. See how this one goes. This could be brilliant. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Very much. 134.0 for Leclerc. Hamilton's out the car, so he's not going again. I mean, the Mercedes are fine. Verstappen's fine. I think Vettel's fine. I think Hulkenberg is fine. Grosjean, 0.6 off Stroll in 16th. Should be okay, but might want to go again. It's going to be interesting who does go, actually. They're just talking at the moment on Sky about Leclerc not going out. Yeah, Ted just saying it's Hulkenberg and Grosjean are safe. So Grosjean, so really 7th downwards all need to go again. I suppose the concern for Ferrari is if they send out Leclerc, that might compromise him for Q3 like it did Vettel in Bahrain. But then the flip side of that is if he doesn't go out to do a lap and then doesn't get through, he's not going to be in Q3 anyway. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't go out. But that's what Sky is speculating on at the moment. But we know how Sky enjoy trying to build the drama when there isn't any. So we'll see what happens. If he goes out, he goes out. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I don't think he's safe. Not by a long way. What is he? 0.4 off Stroll? So yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go again. zero point 0.8 seconds for Verstappen and Gasly. Not good enough. Pierre says racing. Well said. Not good enough. Come on, Pierre. Sort yourself out. I think... Is that... Yeah, Leclerc is going out again. I was looking then going, is he getting out the car? No, he's not. They're taking the monitor off so he can drive out, basically. So, yeah, he is going out. Ricciardo's down in 9th. At the moment, first one out for the second runs then is Carlos Sainz, another guy, my one to watch for the weekend. Sorry, Carlos, I've jinxed you already. He could do with a good weekend. There's Grosjean, Gasly, and Sainz this weekend, and Ricciardo as well. All need a decent weekend. I'm not being too. There are a few others out there, I'll put it that way, who are quite critical of Giovinazzi. But actually, in Bahrain, he was only a few hundredths off getting into Q2 and his teammates' time. So he didn't have a bad weekend in Bahrain, but give the guy time, give all these rookies time. But I think a good weekend for him will be needed soon. A bit like Albion as well. Not really any. I mean, Albon's got 2 points on the board. Somebody said on Twitter earlier that it's time to drop Albon and bring back Hartley, who was improving last year. And I think, well, already Albon's halfway to Brendan Hartley's entire points tally from last year. So I'm not buying into that one just yet. I think Alex Albon's been solid, apart from his crash this morning, of course. And Lando Norris has been very, very good in his rookie year so far. So a bit of pressure on Giovinazzi. Maybe in a couple of races, but I think he just needs to be cracking on and learning, really, more than anything. A little bit like a few others, but what do you think of... I've got time to answer that very quickly. What do you think of Williams' performance this season, says Zulu? I'll answer that super quickly as they all gear up for their second runs. Shocking, is it? It's not shocking. We all knew we were all pretty confident they'd be last, but I think I said constantly through the winter I didn't expect any team to be cut adrift. And they're not just cut adrift, they're cut adrift and have drifted off. They're absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Terrible. Not good enough for a team of their history and their personnel. Patrick head in now as Magnussen comes across the line to start his second run. A minute 25 to go. So yeah, not good enough for a team of Williams' calibre. Patrick Head's come in to try and help them out, but they're in trouble. They're in big, big trouble. Not good. I need to open the app really at some point and have the driver tracker on for qualifying. Maybe I'll do that from the next race in Baku. Of course, it's Baku. So Magnussen through the first sector. Only 2/10 down on Valtteri Bottas. Everybody quite close. Or the majority of the field quite close in that first sector. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. See what he can do. So Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel and Hülkenberg are not out. Grosjean did feel the need to go out. Giovinazzi is not going out either. So Giovinazzi is out of qualifying, as is Alex Albon. Neither of those have set a time. I don't know what's going on with Gio. I must have missed that, so I'll keep an eye on Twitter and whatnot. So not good. Not good. So we're only going to lose effectively 3 here because Gio hasn't set a time and won't be, and Albon's already not taking part because of his crash in FP3. So let's see what Magnussen can do. His middle sector, 27.8. This should put him at the moment ahead of his... Oh, he might not actually. It's going to be close. He might just pip Grosjean, but it should see him up into 7th. Or possibly 8th. Magnussen into the final corner now. What's he going to do as he goes across the line? It is P8. It is P8. I don't know what's going on with the TV graphics at the moment. If anybody's watching on the world feed, for some reason the TV picture seems delayed compared to the timing, which is a little bit odd. Across the line goes Grosjean. He's 6th. He's through at the moment. But it's going to be absolute chaos now. Across the line, Norris. Only P12 for Norris. What can Carlos Sainz do? Will he improve? He jumps up beautifully into 6th place for Carlos Sainz. The delay seems to be sorted out now. Over the line for Daniel Kvyat. Where's he going to go? He stays in 8th place. It's not quite as chaotic as it was in the opening 2 races of the season. Ricciardo up to 7th. We've got Charles Leclerc coming out of the final corner. Where can he end up? Definitely needs to improve up to P2, 32.7, a 10th off Valtteri Bottas. So it is close at the top. Over the line for Kimi Raikkonen, who goes 13th, puts Perez on the bubble. We got Stroll in the final corner. Doesn't improve, so Stroll is out, Kubica is out, Russell is out, Giovinazzi is out, and Albon is out. That's the end of that, unless Russell can spring a surprise. Russell goes ahead of Kubica, out-qualifies his teammate Perez. This doesn't matter as far as I know. No, it doesn't, because he's already through, but he goes up to 11th place, puts Norris on the bubble. But Stroll, Russell and Kubica have already completed their laps, and Giovinazzi and Albon are not going to improve theirs. Gasly improves to 11th place, but still a long way off his teammate. A long way off his teammate. So there we go. I'm just looking at Lance Stroll again. Yeah. I said this last time out. The one thing that Force India, the one thing that Racing Point were talking about pre-season was getting. They were quite happy with Stroll on a Sunday. I think he did generally do a lot better on a Sunday last year. He is very good at making up positions off the start, so he's got that nailed. But qualifying, he's just not been good. He's not been good, and it seems to be his real weak point. And I thought they were working on that, and he still doesn't seem to be able to get the one lap pace together. Yet he still picked up points in Australia and wasn't too bad on pace. George Russell just said it's a rubbish lap, but he did jump ahead of his teammates. So Russell once again out qualifying Kubica, so that's 3-0 down at Williams. As I said towards the start of the stream, that's it, isn't it? It's who's going to come out on top in that battle is all we can talk about at Williams. And Russell at the moment 3-0 up in qualifying, and I think 2-0 up in the races. So it's going to be interesting. But your running order super quickly then. I've got time, haven't I? Before I do my timer, but it's Bottas, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel are your top 5. Leclerc half a tenth off Bottas's time. Hamilton 4 tenths back. Verstappen 6th off, and Vettel nearly 9 tenths off. Hulkenberg 6th. Sainz in 7th. Ricardo 8th. Grosjean in 9th. Daniel Kvyat rounds out that top 10. 1.1 seconds off the pace. This field is a lot closer than it has been in recent years. Obviously, as everybody starts turning up party modes, that might change, but very, very close at the moment. Gasly only in 11th place. 1.2 seconds off. So that 3 or 4 tenths off his teammate. Perez in 12th, 13th for Magnussen, 14th for Raikkonen, 15th for Norris, 16th for Stroll, and 17th for Russell. Kubica 18th, and of course Giovinazzi didn't set a time. I'll have a look on Twitter in a moment. And Albion also didn't go out because he had his big crash this morning. See if there's anything on why. I can't see anything on Giovinazzi. The only thing from official Formula 1, Giovinazzi is out of qualifying. He'd waited in the car during Q1 but was unable to send out to set his lap. If anyone in chat knows why, do let me know. I'll keep an eye on chat while I'm having a quick scroll through. But I can't see anything at the moment. So we'll see. Yeah, I can't see anything on Alpha at the moment, but I'll keep an eye. I'll keep an eye out for it, see what's going on. So, yeah, not good. Gio had an issue with the engine installation. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that one. That explains why, he sat in the car and waited to go out, but didn't manage to in the end. But we've lost, if you're just tuning in, Alex Albon. He is out in Q1 after his crash, which they're showing a replay of. Again, big crash this morning. Can't get the car rebuilt in time, so they've gone to the second chassis. Too much monocoque damage. Antonio Giovinazzi out apparently with engine installation issues. Robert Kubica and George Russell obviously out. George Russell out qualifying. His teammate Lance Stroll out as well. Lando Norris was on the bubble. But Carlos Sainz hopped up into 7th place, sorry. So just listening to Alex Albon being interviewed. He's okay, obviously, but will be frustrated, I'd imagine. In fact, he just said angry, so that kind of says, I can understand that one. But yeah, Carlos Sainz hopping up quite nicely into 7th place. Stroll lost out with 2 DNFs and 2 Williams behind him. He literally only had to beat one other driver, and he didn't. Qualify is not his strong point. There are a number of drivers that have weak points. Vettel likes a spin, for example. But yeah, no, Stroll on points are handed out on a Sunday, and he's consistently shown that he's much better on a Sunday than a Saturday. But he's got to sort it. He's got to sort it, because when he gets, there's going to come a point where, how can I word this? He's going to end up, I can't word it in a nice way. There's going to come a point where he's going to have to be coming back through the field and will come up against his teammate, and Racing Point are going to have problems, is the best way to put that. He needs to sort it out. He needs to be up there with Perez. Perez is a good qualifier. It's one of his strong points. So one of his strong points is Stroll's weak points, but he's got to work on that. Still plenty of time in Stroll. He's still, 12? Or something like that. He's not old, is he? So plenty of time to still develop and to learn that. But Saturdays need to be worked on for him. It's interesting. Who's going out in Q2 then? What do we all reckon for Q2? I've got a feeling. looking at his times, Gasly might be in trouble. And that is going to... some people will love that. Some people will absolutely love to be able to tear him down. But that's something I don't want to see. I'd love to see him get through. He could just do with it. He could just do with it. Just keeping an eye, getting ready to set the timer again for Q2. I think Alpha don't seem to have the pace, so I think we might lose Kimi, possibly Fiat as well. Though he was top 10 in Q1. Gasly needs a lap. He's got to deliver. He's got to deliver. So he's going to be the one that I'm watching this session. It'd be nice to see McLaren make Q3 again. I think that'd be pretty solid. We are green, as you can see from the timer ticking away at the moment. Leclerc, no tyres on the car at the moment, so Ferrari not in any rush to go out. We do sometimes have a little lull at the start of Q2. I don't know why it's counting down from 11. I did type in 15, but never mind. What do I know? I'll have to change that one, so apologies. And that'll change that, unfortunately, but I will change that back in a moment. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it went. I don't know why it did that. Definitely typed in. There we go. Quiet lull. I'll take a couple of questions there while I'm just keeping an eye on this. I want Gaz to make it, but I don't have high hopes. Flying Tiger's nervous. What are you nervous for? we love it. We love it. You know we do. As much as I like Fiat, I think Albion will get promoted. I think Albion's been very good. I say that with a bit of caution because he did crash this morning. So it's quite difficult to say too much on that. But I think he's been very good. Just going to alter this slightly so we get the full Pierre Gasly on there. But yeah, I've been quite impressed with him this season so far. For a rookie. Same with Norris. I mean, Gio's not been bad. He's not been bad. He's sort of a rookie and sort of isn't. I think he's been solid as well. So, how high can Norris get? Says Lord. I'm just saying Lord. Lord Cal. I'll put it that. I think looking at Sainz's time in Q1, he could make top 10. He made top 10 in Bahrain, so it's possible as cars are starting to get ready to go out. So yeah, maybe top 10. Maybe top 10, but not sure. Not sure. So last year's Q2 time, fastest Q2 time was a 31.9 from Lewis Hamilton. And I'm not going to try and work out the slowest. By the way, last year's slowest Q1 time was a 34.9. Williams are, way off that. The 31.9 is what we're watching. The fastest lap overall, of course, in qualifying was Vettel's pole of 31.0. I think we might get close to that. Williams is second almost off last year's time, so slowest time, not good. Not good. But we'll start talking about Williams. We'll start talking about them and we'll keep an eye on the times. Now we've got everybody coming out now. We've got Hamilton, Bottas, Raikkonen, Fiat. Then that's Magnussen, Norris going out as well. Everybody basically, Grosjean and Sainz. And then the Ferraris as well. So we've got a nice busy track. Lots going on. Bottas reminds me of an assassin for some reason, says Abdul. Okay. I don't know what to say on that one. Daniel Ricciardo's coming out as well. So everybody but Verstappen, Hülkenberg and Gasly on track at the moment. They might wait for a bit of space because now we're going to have a lot of jostling for position. First one, by the way, to settle out at the moment will be Sergio Perez. He's just coming around turn 8 and through turn 9. Then it'll be one of the Mercs and then we've got an Alpha in there as well. So deep breath. This could be an interesting session. I think... I'd be surprised if we don't see 2 Mercedes and 2 Ferraris through. You never know, but there you go. We'll probably see those guys through. And then it's anybody's game. Absolutely anybody's game. I think Verstappen will get through. Unless there's a mistake or a mechanical problem or anything like that. But I think, this could get very interesting very quickly. So I'm looking forward to this. It'll be one run, and then they'll go again a little bit later on. Although we're coming up to the 10-minute mark already. So they're going to have to be quick in the turnaround. Interesting stuff, though. Bottas, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen and Vettel all on the medium tyre, not the soft. So actually, this could get very interesting if those cars are not quick on those tyres. Bottas is behind Kimi Raikkonen, which is not ideal. But first across the line to start, that will be Sergio Perez. This could be, I'm just going to be watching these medium tyre times. Because I mean, they should. Surely the top 2-3 teams have got the margin on the mediums. Gasly, by the way, has gone out on the softs, I believe. So surely, kind of hoping they don't, and that all of us, they have to go for a second run on the supers. But it's worth the risk, because then they can run longer at the start of the race. But it could get interesting, that one, in the Grand Prix with those behind. I suppose actually, yeah, that's a good point. Depends how long these softs are going to last. Practice, they were a bit all over the place. Yeah, just trying to think of strategy for tomorrow on the fly, but I'll have a think overnight. But yeah, I think if they go on the softs and they have to pit early, and then everybody 11th down has gone on the mediums, they're going to be in traffic, aren't they? So yeah, it makes sense to at least, if not anything else, try the mediums, but I don't think it's a concern. 24 flat for Bottas, 24-1 for Hamilton, 24-1 for Vettel, and 24-1, Jesus, for Charles Leclerc. What's Max Verstappen going to do as he comes through? He's a little way off at the moment, actually. He's still on his outlap, so he'll be a while. But to put that into comparison, Verstappen a 24-1 as well. Ooh, okay, 24-5, 24-4 for Hulkenberg, so they're going to be close. That midfield pack, if you like, are going to be close, but I think the top 5, if you like, are going to get through. So Perez over the line, 33.559 for him. Lewis Hamilton will come out of the final corner. He does a 32.603. Next up will be Kimi. Bottas is flying. Bottas is absolutely flying. It's a 1:31.7. Whoa, Valtteri, calm down. Nearly 9 tenths quicker than his teammate on the same tyre. What a lap from Bottas. I know it's only Q2, and he's got to deliver it in Q3 if it's pole, but that is a hell of a benchmark. What can Vettel do out of the final corner? Can he get anywhere near? It's a 32.2 for him, so not really, half a second off, and Leclerc's going to go for it as well, a 32.324, just 9/100ths off his teammate. Hamilton, way off. Verstappen goes fourth, only 6 tenths off with a 32.3. Only, in air quotes, 6 tenths off. That was a cracking lap. Cracking lap from Bottas. Not quite a track record. Nick, last year's pole was a 31 flat. So we've got a little way to go yet. That is close. Gasly up to P6, 1.2 seconds off. He needs that. Still 6 tenths off his teammate, but that is 6th place, where I did say quite often in pre-season that that's where he needs to be. Is making sure he's in that top 6 for the team, so that's solid for him. But he's not safe. He's not safe. Norris well off, 2.3. Raikkonen 1.9. Sainz 1.9. Perez and Hulkenberg 1.8. They're well off the pace at the moment. And Grosjean's in the drop zone. He's yet to go out, so maybe just one run for Roman by the look of it. But I think that's Gasly down will probably go again. Ooh, yeah, Grosjean, bit of a snap coming through turn. I think that was 8. Just seeing a replay. So that'll explain why he lost all that time. So not good. He would have pitted, fresh set of tyres and go again. On board by Hamilton. Is this going to be a lock-up or going to be wide? Wide through 6. Hamilton's been very scruffy this weekend, you know. Had the spin in FP1. A bit scruffy in the couple of laps I've seen on board from other practice sessions, and we've seen a couple of errors in qualifying. So, struggling this weekend. Whatever Bottas took, let's hope he takes it for Q3. Says FaZe, it's just his Weetabix. Or his porridge. It'll be porridge, won't it? There you go. Yeah, half a second quicker than Vettel. I know we've still got the pole shootout yet, but I'm not Yeah, I think Gasly down probably need to go again. 6 tenths between 6th and 11th, and I don't think they were best laps from Hulkenberg and Perez. Grosjean will go again, so that's a place. But I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed that the top 5 are going to be starting on the medium, because that kind of means that, all right, we're going to get a great scrap up top, but it kind of removes that dropping into traffic and whatnot with those behind. So, yeah, a little bit disappointed with that. But there you go. That is the mediums for the top 5 at the moment. Gasly did go on the soft. Just having a quick look through the official timing screens now. Kvyat 1.5 off. Magnussen 1.6. There's 6 tenths between 6th place and 11th. So I think Gasly will need to go again. Might be okay. But is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk to not send Gasly out, given the issues he's had? Be an interesting dilemma for Red Bull. It all went wrong in Australia in qualifying, so you might be okay. 6 tenths is a lot for Perez to find and Hulkenberg and co to find, so we'll see. At the moment, neither McLaren through. Sainz is about a 10th off. Hulkenberg in 10th and Norris well off, really. Half a second, so he's going to have to find a lot of time. Only just got through Q1, actually. So, yes. Logan says, everyone liked the stream? Absolutely. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Lots of content still to come this weekend. Nice to see you confident. But yeah, don't forget to like the stream as well. It does help the channel out massively. Thank you very much. So I'm reading chat and then responding and not saying who's saying it. Sorry, Primitive said I liked, and I said thank you. It's still fairly early. I think 25 to 8 is still early in the UK. I'm having that. I don't do Saturday mornings. Ferrari sucks. Admit it, dudes. They never win. They never win a constructors' championship for about 6 to 10 years. Cool. What is the gap between Vettel and Verstappen? The gap between Vettel and Verstappen is about 1.5 tenths. 141-ish. So, yeah. About 1.5 tenths. So, you know, I said, didn't I, at the start of this, I didn't think that Red Bull would be in the mix, but actually, they're all going out again, including Bottas on the softs. So Bottas has gone soft. That probably could have been worded better. Sebastian Vettel has gone out on the softs, as has Max Verstappen. So whether they're just going to do that, put a quick few sectors in case they need to go quicker. Yeah, interesting that they're all going again. Maybe people not happy. Hamilton's gone out on the mediums. Leclerc's back out on the mediums. I think this is just Hamilton. If Hamilton feels under threat on 32.6, I'd be surprised. Just to Martin Brundle there. I don't think he's under threat at all. This is where it all goes wrong. Yeah, I don't think there's any concern there whatsoever. I've got a feeling they're just going out just to cover their own backs. If you know what I mean. Just get it. They'll probably go for some super quick sectors, and then if they're not needing to complete the lap, they'll just come into the pits and abandon it, so they don't actually end up starting on those tyres. But I'm surprised. I don't think any of them needed to go out. I think the top 5 were 100% safe, and Gasly was probably safe. But when Gasly's not gone out. Apparently Leclerc hasn't gone out on track according to the timing, but I'm sure I just saw him out there. I might be wrong. I will keep an eye. Keep an eye. No, he's not. Gasly's not out there. No, neither is Leclerc. I'm just checking that. Then maybe a replay I was looking at there of Leclerc. I thought it was on track, but so yeah. So Bottas on the softs, Vettel on the softs. They're out. Verstappen's gone out again, as has Hamilton, and Gasly has stayed in the pit. So Red Bull obviously happy with him. So Raikkonen is a 10th up on. I think that's the time to get him through. Yeah, maybe. Maybe could just be setting the car up for Q3, maybe scrub them in for the first run, perhaps. But let's see what we're going to see here. So Bottas is was purple in the first. That's been beaten by Hamilton on the medium, so I don't think Bottas is pushing. He'll be straight in the pits at the end of this lap, I would imagine. His times aren't brilliant at the moment. Kimi Raikkonen, he's going to need to improve here. He's currently P10, and he goes across the line and stays P10, 133.4. Over the line, Bottas, that's not going to really make it. Oh, twitchy Lando Norris at the back. Over the line he goes, stays 14th. Norris is out. Across the line comes Kvyat. He stays 7th. Sainz, he's coming across the line. Only 11th. Both McLarens are out of qualifying. Next up is Magnussen, improved to 7th. Over the line comes Ricciardo into 8th. So there's stuff all track evolution this weekend by the look of it compared to previous years. Grosjean, though, on his flying lap, gets himself up into 8th place. Very, very good lap. And through comes Perez. He needs a lap. I don't think he's going to do it. Only P11 for Sergio Perez, and I don't know what Nico Hulkenberg's doing, but at the moment he is only P14, but improves to 7th. Ricciardo's on the bubble, very slow out the final corner is Sebastian Vettel, but we have lost from Q2 Daniel Kvyat, Sergio Perez, Kimi Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz, and Lando Norris, as Hamilton goes fastest on a 31.6 on those medium tyres. So there we go. That is that. Verstappen stays 5th. Gasly was safe. Hulkenberg only a few hundredths off him in the end. So interesting stuff. Hulkenberg needed that lap. He was down in 14th at the time. We'll have a look at the running order in a moment. I'll just let everyone get into the pits first. So the top 5 are all, Hamilton set his time on the mediums. Hamilton set all the top 5. So Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, Leclerc, and Verstappen will all start on the medium tyres tomorrow. Gasly will be softs. Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Grosjean, and Ricciardo all soft as well. So there we go. Oh. I've got some of those sector times. Yeah, Bottas back well off, really, in the middle sector. And definitely the final sector. So yeah. Scrubbing tyres in maybe? I don't know. So I think this is going to be close. This could be very close. Bottas looks like he's on form, but then Hamilton's gone and delivered that lap, which is only 6/10 only, 6/10 off last year's pole time, and I believe, just double check, but I think that is quicker than last year's quickest, as in just on board with Norris, who back end sliding out wide there. 3/10 quicker than last year's fastest time in Q2 as well. So good lap in the end there, but Hamilton, fastest, 131.6, 9/100ths quicker than Valtteri Bottas in second. Vettel third, nearly 6/10 behind the Mercedes boys. Leclerc also nearly 7/10 behind, though, in 4th place. Verstappen, dare I say, only 7/10 off the Mercedes pace, which, given that I didn't think Red Bull were going to be all that good in qualifying, I'm being surprised here. Then how much of that is the car and how much of Verstappen? Gasly 1.3 off in 6th. Hulkenberg 1.3 off in 7th. Magnussen 1.5 off in 8th, as is Grosjean. So 6/1000ths of a second between Magnussen and Grosjean. Daniel Ricciardo 1.5 seconds off in 10th place, and then out of Q2, joining Albon, Giovinazzi, Kubica, Russell, and Stroll, are Kvyat. He was two hundredths of a second, off getting through. Frustration for poor Daniel Kvyat. 12th place for Sergio Perez, 13th for Raikkonen, 14th for Sainz, and 15th for Norris. Although, do you know, Kvyat probably won't be too disappointed with that. I'm sure he'd love a Q3 appearance, but chances are if he got into Q3, he'd only be 10th, maybe a cheeky 9th place if he could deliver a good lap. So free choice of tyre, 11th place. I don't think that's too bad at all for Daniel Kvyat, who appears to have turned up this year and is delivering showing that talent that he showed in his early days in Formula 1 before Red Bull kicked the crap out of him. Basically, I can't word that any nicer. Still so annoying, and it's been about 300 years since it happened. So yes, I'll get over it. I'll get over it eventually. Q-Bits have just been interviewed. I think he surprised me there. I think that Raikkonen being a fair way off, a couple of tenths off, is a bit of a surprise, but I don't think anybody's really surprised me. Getting through. Good to see Gasly make Q3. Actually, good to see both Renaults getting into Q3. Bit of a difficult qualifying in Bahrain. And then Hulkenberg's problems as well in Australia with his mechanical issues, which saw him well down the grid. So good to see them two make it into Q3. Both the Haas boys, I think they are pretty much expected to be in Q3 these days, which is crazy. But I'm just worried for Ferrari. I know we've still got a whole session to go, party modes to whack on as well, but I'm quite concerned for them on that pace. 6 tenths off for both of them, nearly 7 for Leclerc. I'd like to think they'll find that time back. Maybe just the medium tyre they're not strong on one lap. Are we expecting Ferrari to be closer? Wondering. It's quite a big gap. But yes, so as we wait, they're heading out very, very soon. As we wait, one surname in chat, who will be on pole position for today? Who's going to be on pole position for the race? I'm going to go with... I'm going to go Bottas. I'm going to stick with Bottas. I said that at the start. But I'm going to go with Bottas. Scroll through chats. A lot of you going with Bottas. Q-Bits are Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Q-Bits. Shouldn't be drinking at this time of the morning. First name, last name, Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Grosjean. I'd be very surprised. Gasly, Hamilton, Bottas, Hamilton, Leclerc, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Hamilton. Some good mixes in there. I think Mercedes are looking good at the moment for pole. I'm going to stick with Bottas though. Hopefully. We're going to go green very, very soon for the final session, which is 12 minutes. I'll tell you what, the grandstands, even in qualifying, always seem to be not rammed, not packed full, but they're fairly a good number of people in there. We see it at some tracks, don't we? Practicing qualifying, nobody actually bothers to turn up and watch, but China always, a bit like Japan. Motorsport nuts over there. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'd love to go over and watch a race in Japan or China. Live timing not updating at the moment. It should do. I'm hoping it will. If not, you'll have to listen to my tones, my terrible noise. But now we'll probably get a minute or two where it's just a little bit quiet. Those grandstands are huge, says Flying Tiger there. It looks stunning, doesn't it? Circuit's been around since 2004. Two-stop race is a question. The general feeling is that it's going to be a one-stop, but the conversation they were having yesterday, and from what some of the teams are saying, there is a thought that the two-stop would be the way to go, based on what we saw last year in China. And obviously, that all was safety car related. That's why the two-stop worked. Whether or not it'll work this weekend, we'll see. But I'd be surprised if Mercedes and Ferrari two-stop. However, I would not be surprised to see Red Bull go for it or anybody behind. So keep an eye on that strategy tomorrow. I'll go over strategies before the race, obviously in the 20 or half an hour build-up before lights out. So yeah, I think probably one stop for Mercedes and Ferrari, but I think Red Bull, it's worth a gamble. But if there's a safety car, absolutely. As Raul's saying there, if there's a safety car, go for it. You may as well. People on medias will do one stop. Yeah, like I say, I expect the two Mercedes, two Ferraris, definitely. But Red Bull splitting the strategy with Gasly and Verstappen could make things interesting. Safety cars do like to turn up in China. It's 10 appearances in 15 races, although one of those, technically, I should have pointed out in the preview, actually, one of those was actually a safety car start because of some rain, but it still counts. It still counts towards the figures. So 10 out of 15 races. 3 races it's been out twice, I think. So, yeah, it does like to turn up. Of course, for a safety car finish in Bahrain as well, so yes. Here we go. Deep breaths. First runs. Everyone heading out at the moment. Obviously, everybody's going to be on the soft tyres. Nobody's going to be doing mediums in this session. I think Ricciardo will be first to set a lap. Jean Todt in the Mercedes garage was in the Ferrari one a little bit earlier. So I was just reading somebody's comment there about chances and whatnot. So, yeah. Bottas is back. An OP DRS, a close midfield. I think you're right in the OP DRS. I think that back straight is going to be absolutely mad on Sunday, and that's going to make things interesting. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I always look forward to the race, but certainly for tomorrow. We're going to see some laps now, I think. Leclerc coming round onto that long straight through the nice fast turn 13. And it's going to be Lewis Hamilton through the final corner to start his flying lap. Ricciardo isn't first. I think it's Hamilton. He's been the first to set his lap. Ricciardo was first out of the pits. And we'll see what he can do. First run for Hamilton. Well, first run for everybody, obviously. Pole position for Max, says Arman. I'd be surprised. Nothing against Verstappen or Red Bull. I don't think the pace is there in the Honda to take on Mercedes and Ferrari with party modes, but we'll soon see. Through the first sector comes Lewis Hamilton, 24-1. Shout out from Malaysia at work today and tomorrow. Oh, that sucks, mate. Sorry to hear that. Missed the Malaysian Grand Prix. Big time. Love that track. Absolutely love it. Who knows? Maybe we'll go back there one day. Always up a good Grand Prix, did Malaysia. Even from its first season in 99 with all that strategy play with Ferrari, Schumacher having to play second fiddle and the controversy afterwards as well. But that was a really good race all around. Hamilton purple. But Bottas is, well, wow. 23.9, 27.1. He's 0.2 up on this lap already on his teammate. Bottas looking very, very good. All-time track record is the 1:31.0 from last year. Oh, Bottas is looking good. So Ricciardo's going to go through. He is going to be first set lap. Timing does not update how I want it to. 1:34.2 from Daniel Ricciardo. That's not a particularly brilliant lap. He'll definitely be going. Oh, Hamilton. Back end does get away from. I just see a slide to that final corner. It's a 31.5. We're half a second off last year's pole time. What can Valtteri Bottas do? I think this is going to be a very, very good lap. Out the final corner. What's he got? It's a 31.5. 7 1,000ths of a second quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Wow. That is close. Over the line comes Verstappen to go into third place, half a second off the Mercedes pace. That's kind of expected with party mode and whatnot, but I think Red Bull will be very happy with that. Gasly 32.9. There goes Leclerc, only a 32.1. Vettel, a 32.0. I think Mercedes are on for pole position here and probably a front row lockout. Vettel half a second down, best part of 4.38 tenths down Verstappen splits the Ferraris by hundredths of a second with Leclerc in 5th place. Gasly 1.3 seconds off the pace. Well off his teammate, 8/10 at the moment. Hulkenberg 7th, Ricciardo 8th, and then the two Haas boys. So yes. Oh. Well. That's quite a gap. That is quite a gap. But I think the fight is between Bottas and Hamilton for pole here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I'm surprised to see Verstappen 4th. I'm just staring at it now. Only just ahead of Charles Leclerc, of course, but still 4th place. I think if you'd offered Red Bull that this morning, they'd have absolutely taken that. Splitting the Ferraris. Leclerc needs a good lap. Vettel needs a good lap. I do not see either Ferrari finding half a second. I do not see it. Do not see it. Apparently 2,000 viewers soon, according to Logan. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe, of course, and all that other YouTube and nonsense. And don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. Massively helps the channel out and is always appreciated. So yes, thank you very much for joining us. Lots still to come this weekend. There is the qualifying report, which will go up around 2:30 UK time. I think we're BST now. Clocks went forward. Yeah, BST. That'll be about 2:30. And then tomorrow, the race watch along from 6:40 AM again, UK time. And then the race reaction stream with Stuart, a.k.a. Chamber, will be going live about an hour to an hour and a half after the Chinese Grand Prix finishes tomorrow. Then the debrief, of course, on Monday. So yes, and I'm also working, just not going to say too much, but I'm working on a few bits that are going to switch things up a little bit. Probably mid-May, but that's all I'm going to say. So I'm not going to tease too much because I'm not that harsh. But yeah, a few little tweaks coming that I'm quite looking forward to. So yes. That's all we say for now. So yes. Ted is there. It's fantastic to hear Ted in the pit lane. I know everyone's banging on about him, but it is good to hear him back. Good to hear him back. Karun in comms, just it gets exciting. Sky, what are you doing? Karun Chandler seems to get quite a bit of stick. I quite like him. But yes. Also share about your fantasy team. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I always set up fantasy teams and whatnot, and then I just leave them there for the season and completely forget. I could have prizes from anywhere that I wouldn't know anything about. So yeah, Esteban Ocon standing next to Hamilton's car there, getting ready for the final runs. 2 minutes 53 remaining. Oh. I think, 100% between Bottas and Hamilton. Unless Ferrari are just playing, I'd be surprised. I do love those shiny tyres. I know they're a bit gimmicky and it's just a part of the new process, but they do look cool. Here we go then. The two Merc boys are going out. This is the shootout for pole position. People to watch for the rest of this session. Obviously the battle for pole, but Leclerc needs to get ahead of Verstappen for Ferrari's sake, but I don't, I'm sure Verstappen will be very happy to stay in 4th place. He might improve. He's not far off Sebastian Vettel's time, less than a 10th. So could we see Max Verstappen spring a surprise here and start in P3? That would be a surprise. Hulkenberg, Ricciardo needs a good lap. Hulkenberg is pretty close to Gasly at the moment. Maybe he could get ahead of the Red Bull. Ricciardo 2.7 off, so that wasn't a great lap. The Haas boys have got to run again. Or are going to run for the first time. They're out there now. Or I keep calling it the outlap. It's not the outlap anymore. As Hazel said during Stuart's quiz on Thursday, what was it? The not really asked yet lap. So that's what I need to call the outlap from now on. But everyone is on their not asked yet lap. So that's, yeah. Nice. And looking at the little graphic on screen there, lots of bunched up cars. This is about to get tasty. I've got a feeling. I've good feeling about Bottas. I think he might just nick this, but that is famous last words. That's definitely out of hope, because if Hamilton gets pole, then I know that my qualifying report's going to get disliked loads. Because that's the way it works. Oh, my favourite driver didn't get pole position. I'm going to dislike this. I'm joking. I'm just joking. It's not that bad. It is. It's terrible. We've got 55 seconds remaining. Vettel very, very slow through there, trying to make himself a gap to the Renaults. But look at that straight. We've got Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Renault, Ferrari, Renault as Leclerc throws up the inside of one of the Renault boys. So we've got so much traffic. Hamilton, the only one with clear air. This is going to be... That's perfect for him. Ayaka, yes I do, surprisingly. It's people are that sad. It's true. Here we go, through turn one. Hamilton, really nice line through there. Keep an eye out. I'm just watching for sector times, waiting for them to come through. Hamilton will be the first one through. 23.988 from Bottas was the fastest. Hamilton does a 23. Oh, 7/100ths quicker. Just under 7/100ths quicker than Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to have a drink for this one, I think. Bottas is slower, though, so at the moment Hamilton is on pole as it stands. On this lap, because Bottas is down very, very slightly. That would be enough, just enough, for Hamilton to nick pole position here. Still plenty of the lap, though. A 10th up on Bottas's first run, so that is looking good at the moment for Hamilton. What can Bottas do in that middle sector? He needs a good time, and does go purple. Oh, this is going to be so close. This is going to be so, so close. The Ferraris I'll keep an eye on, but they are nowhere. Well, I'm going to shut up because Vettel's quick. Vettel is quick and so is Leclerc. Ferrari coming back at Mercedes here. At the moment, I think Merc have got it with one of their drivers. They are setting the purple sector times, but Ferrari are definitely closer than they were in the first part of this qualifying session. Round the outside goes Lewis Hamilton. He does like pole position in Shanghai. Over the line he goes and does not improve. Poor final sector from Lewis Hamilton. Bottas across the line does improve, does he? Yes. 31.5. Out comes Leclerc. What can he do? Charles Leclerc across the line goes third. 31.8. Vettel over the line. 31.8 as well. 0.3 down Ferrari, but closer just than they were. They were looking so good early in that lap. So there we go. Pole position goes to Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton 2/100ths further back. Vettel in third place, 0.3 back. Leclerc in fourth. Verstappen fifth. Gasly sixth. Ricciardo 7th. Hülkenberg 8th. Magnussen and Grosjean 9th and 10th did not set a time. Only sector times for them. But Bottas on pole position. Great news for him. What happened to Hamilton in that final sector? Because that was close. And Ferrari as well were 0.2 slower in the final sector than Mercedes. Now, that's not 0.4 quicker in a straight line, is it? Because they were matching Mercedes in the first two sectors. Bottas just been told on the radio, let's make sure we finish the job tomorrow. Magnussen and Grosjean pit do not set a time. Oh, there we go. That'll do quite nicely for tomorrow. It is a Mercedes front row lockout, which I'm sure will make everyone panic now that the season's over again, even though we've had one good Grand Prix and one incredible Grand Prix to kick off this season. Another good qualifying session, not quite as exciting as we saw in Bahrain. And look at this traffic at the hairpin. What does Leclerc do here? Goes round the outside of Vettel round the outside of Verstappen at the hairpin. Didn't want to hang about. He's watching for Vettel in the mirror. This is just watching a replay. I don't know why they're focusing on this. Vettel's perfectly entitled to go around the outside of Verstappen there. Oh. Verstappen had a problem. Sorry, I was listening to Verstappen's radio there, kicking off because people are overtaking him, but it's a racetrack. Oh, Gasly had a look up the inside in the final corner as well. That's why Gasly didn't improve. Compromiser starts his lap trying to go up the inside of his teammate. That was unnecessary, but yeah. Quite know what the moaning's about. Croft is spot on. It's every man for themselves. If a car in front of you is slower and you want to make the space, you go for it. Get on with it. Sorry, that's nothing against Max, but you don't bitch about that. We saw it. What was it? Yeah, it was Bahrain when Norris got blocked by, I think it was Grosjean, and Grosjean got a penalty, and people were kicking off at Vettel for overtaking Grosjean in the final corner. Well, tough shit, quite frankly. Just pick up the pace then. Doesn't matter. Exactly, David. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. And I'll say that for any driver that moans in that situation. Get on with it then. Yes. So, right, running order before I disappear to go off and do the qualifying report. Valtteri Bottas on pole position, a 131.547. Lewis Hamilton in second place, a 131.570. 2/100ths of a second away from his teammate. Once again, very, very close. Sebastian Vettel, 0.3 back, 131.8, just ahead of teammate Charles Leclerc, 17,000ths of a second, or 100th of a second if you prefer. Max Verstappen in fifth place, half a second off. Gasly in sixth, well off actually, 0.8 off his teammate, 1.3 seconds off the pace overall. Daniel Ricciardo in seventh place, 1.4 off. Hulkenberg eighth, also 1.4 off, 32.9. Magnussen and Grosjean didn't set times in the final session, so obviously looking after and saving some tyres there, ready for tomorrow. Kvyat in 11th place, Perez 12th, Raikkonen 13th. Sainz 14th and Norris in 15th. They obviously all got knocked out in Q2. And then Stroll is 16th, Russell 17th, Kubica 18th. Antonio Giovinazzi had some power unit installation issues. And Alex Albon didn't go either because of his crash in FP3. So that is your grid as it stands. Obviously, that's always, as always, that is the provisional result. There's plenty of time for that to change with engine penalties and things like that. So, yes, Bottas on pole. So, super early predictions. I know we've got a way to go yet. Penalties could still happen between now and tomorrow, but we'll do it anyway. We'll throw some prediction. Who's winning tomorrow? Super quickly before I go, let me know what you think. You can do so in the comment section as well if you're watching this afterwards. But let me know in chat who you think is going to win this one. Bottas is looking good. Bottas is looking good. And I have to say, on the race pace I was looking at yesterday, Mercedes do look quicker than Ferrari just on race pace as well. So, but I think tomorrow is going to be tasty. Looking forward to this one. Bottas wins, says Tristan. Vettel says Werner or Werner. I think I say Werner. Mercedes, duh, says David. Well, it was Leclerc, duh, in Bahrain, and then look what happened on the last lap, or last few laps. You never know. Vettel, says Tim. Gustav says Vettel as well. Ferrari too slow in corners in sector 2. That's where they're losing all their time, isn't it? But then they weren't exactly super quick in the final sector either. So, yeah, Leclerc or Bottas. To Stevo or Stevo. I'm not going to read that. Raul Bottas. Bottas has been on it all weekend, says Warren M. He's been good, very good. Quickest in FP3, quickest in FP2, and now pole position as well. Pick a few out that was not been said. Verstappen race pace for the win, says Footy Thoughts TV. He's one to watch. If he's only half a second off in qualifying trim, then he could be quite pretty on, or could sit quite pretty on race pace. So yeah, keep an eye on him. I hope Lando wins, says Saeed. Yes, it'd be amazing if McLaren could get a win. Either of them. Leclerc for the win. I'll take a couple more super quickly before I end this one. No penalties likely. Is a question mark from Astro. I've not seen anything. It seems quite early in the season, doesn't it, John, penalties? But you never know. There's nothing in terms of impeding or anything. So if there is any penalties, it will be because of changes and whatnot. I don't know what's happening down at maybe Giovinazzi might need something, possibly Gasly. But I think everyone should be well within their limits at the moment. So I doubt it, but you never know in Formula One. That's the problem. There could be anything that crops. We had it last weekend with Vettel getting caught to stewards for driving too slowly, didn't we? Or the stewards, not the stewards. A room full of stewards were making a decision on Vettel's penalty. There you go. Oh, dearie me, Sean. It's terrible. Hamilton has struggled with starts. That's a good point from David. Definitely keep an eye on that tomorrow. He was saying that in his pre-weekend stuff, that he needs to get his start sorted. So, yes. I doubt Gasly will get any positions. What do you think? What do you think? Sixth. I think he takes sixth. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But he's had a bit of a difficult start to the year, so I think he'll take sixth. But yeah, I'm just having a quick look, see if we've got any more comments to read before I disappear. But I think I am going to go now. Mission shade, that moustache has got to go. It's got to go. Dirty side of the track, Edgar Fellon. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'd assume the dirty side is the... Well, they wander down the straight, don't they, in China? Yeah. But yeah. And Shivam says, Sean out there nailing his predictions. Yes, absolutely. I've got 2 things right this season, which is 2 more than I got last year. So I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. But yes, I will be back. I will be back later this afternoon. I'm going to go now before I start talking about rooms full of Stuarts again. I am going to disappear. I will be back I think about 2:30 p.m. UK time for the qualifying report. So that's going to go up after the Channel 4 highlights in the UK. So 2:30 p.m. British Standard Time. Then I'll be back again live 6:40 a.m. Tomorrow morning for the race watch along. Race starts at 7:10. Of course, there'll be more live timing and I'll be talking more nonsense because this is me. I think you're all used to it by now. I will also be back live again after the race as well. With Stuart, aka Chainbear, for the race reaction, and debrief will be out on Monday. So lots still to come this weekend. Don't forget you can follow me over on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and to Discord are all in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and to drop a like on the video. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.